Hey you guys, it's Angela Marie, your Queen Sickle Cell Warrior, and welcome to my channel. I come to you guys today as humble as I know how, asking for you to forgive me for my absence or going MIA. Life have been lifing, and I had to put my family first and get us back on track and figure out some things. So, yes, I apologize for my absence. But it is now 2025, and I have promised that I am going to follow God's will, which is for me to bring awareness to sickle cell, me to be the face of sickle cell, and me to have a input, a say so, a footprint in the cure for sickle cell. Yes. So once again, I apologize to you guys for being MIA. But life was life, and then I had to handle some things. As I have said in a previous video, I have 3 young men that are now 17, 19, and one soon to be 23. Yes, I have grown to almost grown boys. And things happen, and you have to put on your mother hat and put all the other things to the side sometimes. So I am committed to this channel. I am committed to this getting this awareness to sickle cell, getting some people to donate towards a cure, so that we sickle cell warriors can possibly be out of pain in my lifetime. But not if not in my lifetime, the next generation for sure. So that was the intro to this video. I'm sorry if it's boring or whatever, but it's straight up and real. And in my vision and what God has spoken to me on doing this, he didn't say, oh, lights, camera, action. So you guys probably noticed the background is different. The intro is different. But this is real. This is me being me. This is Angela Marie. No filters, no nothing. Just being straight up real and raw with you guys, and bringing awareness to my disease and helping my fellow sickle cell warriors out. That's what it's all about, and that's what God has given me the vision and have told me to do. So yes, I am fully committed. With that being said, I at least want to post on my channel once a week. I am definitely committed to once a week giving you a video. But I also have decided that I'm going to start vlogging my everyday life, including my work, as much as I can, because I do work in a hospital setting, so I will not be violating any kind of HIPAA. But my off days, my time with the kids, just bring you all the way into my life. I want to encourage some people to be able to live a healthy, happy life with sickle cell. A lot of people have asked me, oh, you got sickle cell, how are you working 12-hour shifts? Oh, you got sickle cell, how are you working, period? Oh, you got sickle cell, how did you raise your kids by yourself? I will be talking about all those type of things on my channel. I will also be addressing any comments, concerns, any information that people are seeking that they want me to find out. I will be bringing it back to my people, to the people, to our fellow warriors. So yeah, a new year, new beginning, dedication, commitment totally to this, and allowing you guys to come in my life and actually see what us fellow sickle cell warriors go through on a daily, day-to-day basis. Yeah, so speaking on, trying to bring awareness to the disease and coming up with a cure, the main thing is to find a cure for this disease, right? I just been seeing a lot of commercials about HIV pills and how they have these pills that have you undetected so that I guess you can sleep with somebody unprotected and not give them a disease because you're so undetected, or just being able to not necessarily be unprotected having sex, but another layer of protection so that you don't transmit it to someone else. So if HIV have came around after sickle cell, right, and they have a pill to help you be undetected and help you not be able to spread it, why in the hell, excuse my language, but why in the hell do we not have a pill for sickle cell? Why do we not have a pill that will make the red blood cells not sickle so that we will not have a crisis? Why? We have too many African American or people of color that suffer with this disease, and also too many people of color and African Americans that have made it, making six figures, millions, billions. Why are you not pouring back into the Sickle Cell Foundation or sickle cell research so that they can have a cure for us? It's a tax write-off for you. I don't get it. So I'm challenging the basketball players, football players, baseball players, musicians, actors, successful entrepreneurs, CEOs, people that have made it. If you could at least donate $5,000, $500, $10,000 to sickle cell research, come on now. Within a year or two, we should have that pill that can help us not have a crisis and live longer for our children, long enough to see our grandchildren, long enough to see our great-grandchildren. So I'm challenging you guys. Other athletes, actresses, anybody that has made it, or anybody that haven't even made it, but it's been placed on your heart to help your people. This is not like, oh, we haven't been taking care of ourselves, we brought it on ourselves. This is a disease that we were born with. We didn't choose it. It chose us. And from day one, our life has been harder, but still we push through everyday life and do what we got to do to be successful. Like, for example, everybody don't just lay around and be in pain and don't go to work or on disability. You have someone like me that busts my A from the time I get up to the time I go to sleep and have children. I want to be here for them. I want to be able to see their kids and possibly their kids' kids. So let's make it happen, my people. Let's make it happen. I'm gonna get information on who you can actually donate to, that it would actually go towards researching for a cure for sickle cell, and not just giving it to the Sickle Cell Foundation and then not putting it back into the research, which is what we really truly need. They may put it into hydration centers or whatever else. We want to put it into a cure, coming up with a cure for sickle cell. So yeah, that's been real heavy on my mind. I'm like, this disease has been around since 1910. It was discovered in 1910. Fun fact, sickle cell was discovered in 1910 by James B. Herrick in Chicago at Cook County Hospital, if I'm not mistaken. 1910. People, we in 2025. Why don't we have a cure? Over 100 years later, we don't have a cure? Come on, we got to get better. We got to bring awareness to this disease. We need to let them know that it affects people that have everyday lives. It affects athletes. It affects actresses. It affects lawyers, doctors, teachers, nurses, caregivers, students trying to better their life. Like, we need a cure so that we can do the things that we need to do in life, and get rid of this. Get rid of it. It's been around too long. So yeah, that's my spill on that. I'm not gonna keep going on and on about it, but I feel like if they got a pill for AIDS, why? Why we don't have one for sickle cell? You know why? Because it affects us. It affects us, the minority. Yeah, it truly affects Black people the most, and African Americans. And I am gonna say I have met some people of different nationalities, ethnicities. Like, I met a young lady that she was Mexican and Black. She had it. I met an Indian. She had it. I've never met an Indian. It was kind of like, wow, oh my God. But it is what it is. And until we make a big thing about it, come on now. It is just gonna keep on getting brushed under the rug. Yeah, so we gotta do better, my people. We really do. And I am here, and I would fight and be the voice of my fellow sickle cell warriors until the day I take my last breath. I will. I truly will. I'm vowing that to you guys. Anyhow, let's change it up a little bit. As you guys noticed, like I said, God didn't tell me to do all the lights, camera, action, so I'm sitting right here in my living room doing this podcast, and that's how we'll be moving forward as I get my little corner situated. It will be more cozy, but as of right now, it's raw. This is what it's gonna be, and hopefully we won't have any interruptions. I'm not home alone, so you may see my dog walk along or a kid, but I will try to, edit it out. Anyhow, so what I want to talk about today is sickle cell getting worse with as you age. So I was talking to another sickle cell warrior, someone I met in Texas named Coco, and we both agreed that it seemed like as we get older, sickle cell was getting worse for us. The disease process and the crisis were coming more often. So I just want to talk about that. When I was as a teen, first of all, I want everybody to know that they didn't start testing all of the babies for sickle cell, I think nationwide. I don't want to throw a year out, but I want to say it was like in the early 90s that every baby was tested at birth. But before then, we weren't. So I found out I had sickle cell at the age of 13. And I actually didn't find out purposely. But I found out because it was a doctor named Dr. Robinson at my church that he was testing all the kids and even adults for sickle cell. I think during Sickle Cell Awareness Month. And, so we all sat down at church and got tested. And he actually called my father and said, hey, I need you to bring your daughter in and I need to talk with you guys. And when we went in, that's when I found out at the age of 13 that I had sickle cell disease. I have SC type once again. So as a young child, my mother got sick. She was a nurse, but she got sick when I was 7 years old. So I actually, at that point, when I got diagnosed, I went back to my mother and I said, hey, because she was still alive, Mom, do you remember me as a child, like complaining of having pains? And she was like, you know what? you always kind of complain of your arm hurting, your leg hurting. Something was always hurting on you, but we just thought you was like kind of dramatic or always hurting yourself, and they never really thought anything of it. So when I was told by the doctor at 13 that I had sickle cell disease, at 13, I really wasn't able to process that. I really wasn't even concerned about really what it was. I knew that I had some aches and pains, but I thought they were normal because I, at that point, had started playing sports. I was playing basketball, I was playing volleyball, I even ran track, and I thought everybody felt this way. You know, I never thought something is wrong. But once he explained to me the disease and that it could cause aches and pains, and that I really needed to see a hematologist, and you know, I could get medication to help me with the pain crisis. I really wasn't like really hearing it. I'm 13, you know, and my dad like, oh, okay, whatever, you know, kind of okay, but that was that. So I found out at 13 I had sickle cell, and I was determined to not let it affect me, make me different from anybody else. I'm already different from everybody else, but I didn't want to be different from everybody else. So I pushed on with a normal childhood, played basketball, volleyball, ran track, my junior high years, and then when I went to high school, my first 2 years, and then it became a bit much. And at the age of, I would say about 16, I'm like, you know what? Like the running, I was like hurting so bad just doing the running and training in basketball. But I was determined to not really let everybody know I had the disease, and because I didn't really understand it, but I knew that I was hurting so bad after drills and practice in the summer of going into 10th grade. I'm like, you know what? I can't do this no more. It's like too much. And I was asking my sister, do you hurt too? She's like, yeah, I'll be a little sore. But it was a different type of hurt. So at that point, I gave up on basketball. My dad was crushed, he was hurt, but I did it because it was just too much physical pain for me. At that point, I wasn't on any kind of medication or anything, just take Tylenol, Advil, or try to push through without taking anything, and it was a lot. So at the age of 16, I think that winter, I developed a UTI. And I didn't know, you know, I went to the doctor and, you know, I'm thinking, oh, it's nothing. I ended up in the emergency room because my stomach was hurting so bad. And they was like, yeah, you got a UTI. And I'm like, okay. But I was like, my stomach's not just hurting, my legs is hurting from it. And so that UTI ended up triggering a whole crisis, and that was the first time in which I was hospitalized at the age of 16. So, and it happened to be during the Apple Festival in Ohio. And I remember looking out of the window from Elyria Memorial Hospital and seeing the Apple Festival going on, but I couldn't be there. It hurt. But at the end of the day, I kept saying this won't last forever. I think I was in the hospital at that point for like 4 days. And that was the first time I was hospitalized. And that's when I really realized like this thing could get me in the hospital. Like maybe I need to start thinking about seeing a hematologist. But I'm 16, still trying to live a normal life. So I didn't take advantage of that then. So I want to say at 16, I also had a talk with a gynecologist, which I was going to get my birth control and pap smears and stuff. And she was like, hey, you know, if you got sickle cell, you really shouldn't have children. Having a child could kill you, and da-da-da-da, and they could have the trait. They definitely would have the trait. They can get the disease too, and that would be, I'm sorry, you guys. That would be kind of bad for you. Um, and I was like, yeah, but I was determined to do the opposite. Like, whatever they said, I'm not trying to hear it. Like, I'm gonna prove you wrong. That's the mindset I had. And so once I hit my early 20s, I had my first child. And my grandmother, Nellie Caver, God bless her soul, may her soul rest. But I was like, yeah, I want to have my baby natural. I don't want no pain meds. I'm going to have my baby natural. Our ancestors did it. And she was like, you going to be a dang on fool too. Our ancestors did it because they ain't had no medicine. Say, get the medicine, get the epidural. And I didn't listen. So I was in labor for 32 hours with my son. He was I went into labor at 32 weeks as well, and 5 days. So I was in labor for 3 days. And then I finally, they gave me the steroids for his lungs, so that they were saying his lungs wasn't developed at 32 weeks or 33, almost 33 weeks. And that he would have so many other issues, and that he was only going to be 3 pounds and blah, blah, blah. And so they gave me the steroids the first 2 days. And the third day, they were like, look, this boy keep trying to come. We're going to let him come, and we just have to take him to the NICU, and, he probably be on the ventilator, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. So that third day, I had him. I was in so much pain. I mean, that's the worst pain I ever felt as far as a crisis. Like, the pain all over my body, my arms, my legs, my stomach, everywhere, my head, my feet, my hands, everything was hurting. And I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I was gonna die. And that's the closest I've been on my deathbed, I believe, with my sickle cell. And I actually had to end up staying in Cleveland Metro for 7 days along with my baby. He stayed as well. There was nothing wrong with him. He had jaundice. A lot of babies have jaundice. And he was 5 pounds and 1 ounce. So his lungs was fully developed. He didn't have any issues. He was a preemie, but he was fine. But yeah, that was my second sickle cell crisis, and the second time I had to be hospitalized for it. And in my 20s, I will say this, I was young and dumb. I smoked Black and Milds. I smoked tobacco. I drank, and I didn't even realize that was what was making me, my daily pain be like a 5 because of my lifestyle. So I said that to say, if you out here smoking and abusing your body, drinking alcohol every day, you're gonna have crisis. One thing I've learned now that I'm in my 40s, like, if I'm gonna go out and have some drinks or whatever and celebrate an occasion, I have to hydrate myself. So the days before, like, if I know I'm gonna go out on Saturday with some friends and it's Friday, I will start hydrating myself all day. And when I say hydrating, I mean like 8 bottles of water that day. It's Saturday, I will be drinking water all the way up until we go out. And even just having 2 or 3 drinks the next day, if I do not do that, I'm in a full crisis. Not to the point where I need to go to the hospital, but I mean, my pain like a 6, 7, where then in turn I have to take my pain medicine every 6 to 8 hours around the clock for 3 days to get me out of it, and back to my normal pain level of 3. So is it worth it? Is what I'm saying to you guys. We got to pick and choose our battles. It is not worth it. It's not. So yeah, I know if I'm gonna do that, which I'll do it maybe 2 or 3 times a year, I hydrate myself first. So I highly recommend you guys in your younger ages that's still out there wilding and really understanding the disease, that you cannot act like you like everybody else, and you must hydrate before you go out drinking. And the cigarettes, the tobacco, period, need to go. Like, that is inducing your crisis. And you don't even realize it. It is. I smoked, trust me, for 12 years. From the age of 15 to 27 years old. So trust me, I know it's hard to quit. But with God, I was able to quit cold turkey, chew gum, take myself from around people that smoke, then put myself in a situation where I wanted to smoke. Yeah, I had things happen like my mom passed, different things like that. Yeah, you could say that's a trigger. I need a cigarette. It's an excuse. Pray yourself out of it. That's what I did. So good luck to those that are smoking, that's gonna quit, or that's encouraged to quit by me saying that. You can do it. I promise you can. And you will feel so much better. So that's one of the things I learned in my 20s. Then when I hit my 30s, it was more so my triggers was stress. Raising 3 kids by myself, it's stressful. Probably just raising one, but not just one. I had 3 boys I was raising by myself. And I only thing I could say about that, because only thing I really could say about that is to try and eliminate those stresses. But your kids are gonna be kids. And I could not take myself away from being so emotionally attached to them that whatever's going on with them is stressing me out to the point where my body is hurting. I couldn't. And I'm just now learning in my 40s how to not let their problems be so big to me. You know, and I constantly still to this day pray and just ask God to please let me care, but let go and let you do what you need to do with them. And let me do what I can in the physical and let the rest of it go. That's all I can do. And like I said, it takes time. It takes time. It takes time. But that was the biggest difference in my 30s. It was the stress of raising kids and, you know, family things. And that was the biggest stressors for me. So I will say in my 30s is when I had to be hospitalized the most. And most of it was due to stress and dehydration. I was working. I work in healthcare. And sometimes you're working so hard in the hospital, a lot of times you don't have time to drink your water. I barely could get 2 bottles in 12 hours. That's kind of bad. But that's how busy the hospital is. And I love my career. I chose to be a respiratory therapist, and I love it. So I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world, but I do try to be more conscious about getting my water in. So I at least get 3 bottles in when I'm at work. And then when on the way home, I try to drink one, and then I try to drink one more before I go to bed. But on my off days, I'm on my water. I'm really on it. In my 40s or late 30s to early 40s, I had to be hospitalized more so for, like, I had a bad gallbladder. I had to have that taken out. Let's speak on that. Had a bad gallbladder, went to the hospital 3 times. Stomach hurt. Feel like I'm having a baby, but I know I ain't pregnant. Oh, it's your sickle cell, Don't let nobody send you home and tell you it's your sickle cell when you know it ain't your sickle cell. You got to advocate for yourself. That happened to me twice. The 3rd time I went in there, I said, look, it is not my sickle cell. It is more to me than sickle cell. I need you to look in my stomach and see what's going on. The doctor looked at me and he said, I know. You're going to get an ultrasound. I'm going to do an ultrasound right now. He did that ultrasound, came back in there about an hour later and was like, look, ma'am, your gallbladder is so bad that you need to have emergency surgery tonight. But there's nobody here to do it. It was like a Saturday night. He was like, so I'm going to refer you to this person. You need to go see them Monday morning so they can set up your surgery as soon as possible. And in the meantime, I'm giving you X, Y, and Z to take. So I said all that to say, advocate for yourself, people. because you would sit here and have other things going on with you, and you could check out of this earth because they just want to put it on your sickle cell. No, don't take it. You know your body. I know my body. So, yeah, I had to be hospitalized for that. And then maybe the latest hospitalization was at 40. And I'm now 43. And at 40, it was the weather switching back and forth on top of stressful job, on top of dehydration, on top of I think me getting COVID a couple of times might affect scarred my lungs. But I had the worst crisis that I had in years. So I said when it's when it's a combination of things, you are really walking on thin ice. By not going to the emergency room and saying, oh, I'm just gonna push through. Let me say this for you guys that don't know when to go to the hospital, because I'm one of them, and I have been guilty of it many times. When you are taking your medicine like you're supposed to every 4 to 6 to 8 hours, whatever your prescription says, around the clock for 3 days, and nothing's happening and your pain is the same, or you having to double your medication, get to the hospital. Don't be hard-headed like me. There's one thing I have vowed. If it gets to that point, I'm going, because I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission for y'all. I'm on a mission for me. I'm on a mission to find this cure. And I have 3 young men that love their mom and want to see me here. So I'm going to take myself to the hospital. And you guys will go right along with me, because guess what? I'm vlogging now. So you will see my everyday life. But yeah, now I'm 43. I'm just now really learning to manage my disease and not be hard-headed and say I need help. So yeah, as you get older, it does seem like you have more crises, but I think it's more so the stress, because when you're an adult, life be lifing, as I said in the beginning. So yeah, that is everything I wanted to say about sickle cell and it progressing or being worse as you age. It's true. But once you learn to manage your triggers, it don't have to be as much. It really doesn't. What I did back then versus what I do now, like I already spoke on it. Try to keep all my triggers down. Dress appropriate in the winter. Have lots of clothes, layers on, where I can take layers off if I get too hot. In the summer, less layers, but I always keep layers in the car in case I get too cold in the air and I need to put on a jacket. I have a jacket, a sweater, something. Yeah, so that's how I deal with the weather. And then as far as stressing, like if you bring a stress to me, I will cut you off. These kids of mine or young men of mine, pray for them. Pray for them, give them advice, and give it to God. Because I want to be here. I really do want to be here. I want to see my grandkids. I want to see my great grandkids. And I want to help find a cure for sickle cell. Yes. Then the hydration part. Like I said, I do my best when I'm at work, but on my off days, I'm on top of it. You guys, you need to be drinking at least 64 ounces of water a day. At least 64 ounces. Also, hydrations. If you have access to hydration centers, get your hydrations, because the water we drink do not cross all the way over in our cells. Not gonna get too deep into that. I'm more medical. I know a lot of you guys aren't, but the water we drink do not cross over to our cells, all of it. So you need to get hydrations if possible. That's when they place an IV in your arm and give you bags of fluid, at least a liter. And some people get one, some people get two a week, whatever your doctor is recommending. Don't be a knucklehead in your 20s. Go get a hematologist as a child. And when you are 18 and grown, it is on you, not your parent anymore, to make sure that you get the care that you need. Go find you a hematologist. If you got to go through 2 or 3 of them, that's fine. Find one that you really like, one you connect with, one that's going to give you the medication that you need, and one that's going to make sure that you are living the healthiest life possible, and that you're going to be here as long as possible. And once you have your hematologist and your primary care physician, and you got your hydrations, you got your pain medication, you can have the best life ever, as long as you learn to manage your stressors, your triggers, like the stress, the weather, infections. Even though it's, people saying COVID not gone, it's never going anywhere. But even though it's not making people as sick as it was and dying from it, if you know that somebody's under the weather or you're under the weather, put on a mask. Like, your immune system is weakened, sis. Your immune system is weakened, bruh. We have sickle cell. Let's take care of ourselves. Let's protect ourselves. It's okay. Let people stare because you got a mask on. I don't care. But I know I'm going to be safe. Okay? I know I don't want to be sick. I know the flu can make your sickle cell turn up, turn out, and you be in a full crisis. No, we don't want that. RSV, it's just a whole bunch of things out now that will have you laid up in the hospital, sis. We don't need to be laid up, because we are sickle cell warriors and we got things to do, right? So just stay healthy, you guys. Be okay with being different. If you gotta put that mask on, put it on. Put it on. Let's stay out of the hospital. So what else is new? I don't want to be too extra long. It's a longer video than usual because I had to ask forgiveness from you guys and make sure that I still got you guys following me and being with me. But what's new? Like I said, I will be daily vlogging, blogging on TikTok. I will have a Facebook page, Pray for a Cure, Sickle Cell Warriors. I do have t-shirts. That's exciting. So on the next podcast, or if not that next one, the one after that, you will be able to see the t-shirts. I will have them for sale on Spotify and Etsy. Every t-shirt I sell, I will donate $2 off of it towards the research on sickle cell. But I really want to start traveling and speaking on it. So that's my goal, to be able to travel and speak to different people. And I hope all my sickle cell warriors are talking to their children and letting them know that they have the traits. And if you have the trait, you don't need to get with anyone else that has the trait. That's the main thing I want to do, is let's educate our people. So if we can't even get the government to help us come up with a pill to help us stop having crisis, or a cure, we can at least try to do it amongst ourselves by educating our children. It's very important that if you're serious with someone or you're dating someone, know their status. Do you have sickle cell trait? Do you have the disease? If you do, you got the trait, I got the trait, then there is a 25% chance that we're going to have a child that has sickle cell. 25% chance that our child's going to have the trait. 50% chance that they may not have anything. But we need to make sure our kids know that. And we need to lead with love and not be selfish. So if you meet somebody and you vibing real good with them, okay, and y'all both got the trait, okay, that's not saying that you can't be together, but do you want to take that chance on having a child with sickle cell? There's going to be crying and pain, and there's nothing you can do about it. No. So that is what I want us to start doing, educating one another. So yeah, be on the lookout for the t-shirts. Be on the lookout for my daily blogging. Be on the lookout for the Facebook page. And definitely be on the lookout for the t-shirts that you can buy at Etsy or Shopify. All right, I love you guys. I will be back with you next week with another podcast. Stay blessed. I love you, and let's pray for a cure.